It's a gorgeous building.
Yes.
I've never been there. It's gorgeous.
You can come back again. You like
The photographs are phenomenal. It's like, whoa.
this is every 2 months we change our art and photography. So this just went up on Thursday. It's brand new. The photographer is from Israel. She spent a few months here in Maine, just going back and forth. You must know my friend Tom Berman.
Pardon?
Do you know Tom Berman from Temple Bethel? No?
No, it's a...
He does all of their computer stuff, like YouTube, and he's in Florida. He's going to be mine in a moment. All right, I'm going to go back in my office. Do you need anything?
No, maybe the measure at some point. That sounds good.
Yeah, so at the bottom of the staircase on this side is turn
Over there.
left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And there's a women's room there too. I don't ask her questions. So, Philip. How come you didn't get married? I'm not. If you have a terrible, terrible night, so it's a nice in case you hadn't noticed. Yeah, I believe you had noticed, but it's not. It's not. There's something I want to get out of the house. It's funny. I retired 10 years ago, and I had a picture of everybody else. I had all this time on my hands. I don't know. The days go by so fast. I don't know. And it's a good thing. No, you just sit on my hand. Well, that's okay too. I do. It's good. No, but I'm just. I retired 2 years ago. I'm still trying to get into the retirement mode. Yeah, I had a credit for. I was lucky enough to be able to retire at 60 because I worked in the state. So I had a very good one. Took a little. My wife was still working. That took a little bit of reach. And I'm still there. When she retired, and we were both home all day, that took even more of a little reaction. But we got work out. Yeah, we go on 45 years.
They were painting this house. Oh, really? They did renovation.
This
We did it in the gallery because we had all the paintings, and then we didn't have any. We did it all in that room downstairs. It was like a function.
This is not pistachio. From this thing, so it's a small.
It's not that small. Bigger than the one I grew up in. In Augusta. Oh, it's tiny. Oh my gosh. The inside of our synagogue, yeah, literally, it was 1/3 the size of this room.
What's that?
Our synagogue, and it had folding chairs. We didn't even have pews. Wow. It was just this really basic building built in the 60s or 50s by 80s.
Where do you see them? It was like all, it might have just been.
I don't really.
I think it was.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, some of the
Like,
Good morning, and thank you all for coming here this morning as we celebrate the life of Andrew Brenner, Andy, as most of us knew him. The time of mourning is a complicated time, filled with many memories and emotions. I can't stand here on a Saturday morning not expecting to see Andy walk through that door, fashionably late, of course. Walk down this aisle and stop and greet every single person that he met and take his seat right where he was sitting every single Saturday morning. If he wasn't here, it wasn't a complete day. I want to begin our service today as we remember Andy by sharing a couple of psalms and prayers, thus linking Andy's life with the 3,000-year-old tradition of the people of Israel and the eternity of God. We begin with the 23rd Psalm. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai roi la'etzov, Binos tesher yarbitzeni, Al mei menuch yinachalei, Nafshi yeshovei, Nafshi yeshovei, Yancheni b'ma'ale tzedek למען שמו, גם כי אלי בגיא צלמות, לא יירא רע, כי אתה עמדי, שבטך ומשענתך, שבטך ומשענתך, המה ינחמוני, קרוב לפני שולחן נגד צורריי, דשנת בשמן ראשי, עושי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The book of Psalms teaches us the earth is the Lord's and all that fills it. Those who work in the world of finance spend their days thinking about value, about what things are worth. But our Jewish tradition reminds us that the greatest measure of a life is not the numbers on a balance sheet, but the goodness one brings into the world. Throughout his years on Wall Street, Andy understood that wealth and wisdom carry responsibility. He offered his insight to help strengthen communities, to guide charitable organizations, and to help good causes to flourish. And in doing so, he fulfilled the ancient Jewish calling of tzedakah, charity, and service. His legacy is not only in markets and in institutions, but in the lives and in the missions that he helped to sustain. A couple of short readings I've chosen to share with you today. This from the book of Job. There is no replacing a person of wisdom. There are mines for silver and places where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth, and copper is smelted from the rock. But where can wisdom be found? And where is the source of understanding? There is no replacing a person of wisdom. A few lines taken from Psalm 39. Tell us, Adonai, what our term is. Tell us the measure of our days. Were we to know, we would know then certainly how fleeting life is, how quickly we gray. You have made our life just handbreadth long. Its span is as nothing in your sight. No one endures any longer than a breath. We walk about as mere shadow. Mere futility is our hustle and bustle, amassing treasure and not knowing who will gather it in. What then can we depend on, Lord? We shall depend on you. In you lies our hope. We're going to have some more words later in form of the eulogy, but at this point I would like to invite his daughter Rachel to share a few words with us.
My dad was a man of many titles. To you, he was a colleague, an uncle, a business partner, a community leader, a cousin, a mentor, a friend, and I bet that nearly all of you knew him as Andy. It was certainly his preferred name, even professionally. Some of you had affectionate nicknames for him. Yule, Tank, Drewski. But first and foremost, he was Andy. In fact, while I was having lunch with him last spring, I called him Andy to his face. I remember how surprised and confused he looked when I did. Some of you know that before I became a librarian and archivist, I was a publicist. I pursued a liberal arts degree and spent years thinking that my passions of reading and writing made me so different from my dad, whose interests I believed to center only around business, commerce, finance, that we were unlike, opposites in our pursuits. But when I look at it now, I don't know anyone who read more than my dad, anyone who wrote quite as prolifically. And when I think about how he shared news, updates, segment links, and photos, he actually would have been an excellent publicist. He certainly believed that information and knowledge were power, and he believed as well in sharing that knowledge and power with his many friends and family. While going through my dad's phone recently, I came across a phrase that is new to me, shep nachas, to scoop up joy, or to take immense pleasure and satisfaction and pride or behavior in the achievements or behavior of children, family, or close friends. In fact, it was my Uncle Jeff who had written it to my dad. I feel it captures what I saw whenever my dad sent me one of his many updates. His forwarding of photos has always been funny, if at times embarrassing, to me, but it was a lot of other things as well. His updates weren't just his way of communicating, they were how he expressed pride in his family and friends, work, and life. And he certainly had a lot of nachas to shep about. For me, it was when he would stop by my office at Rockefeller Center after a TV appearance, or to watch the Thanksgiving parade down 6th Avenue. It was when he would visit me at my dorm at Smith while on his way up to Maine. It was attending Noah's graduation, and the countless pictures of Noah's dog. For my cousins, it was their kids, engagements, weddings, especially his, and any opportunity he had to give advice on business. He loved attending countless events, especially if his Aunt Judy was being honored. He loved lunches with his Aunt Natalie, visits at the cottage with his Uncle Arthur and Aunt Beverly, updates from his nephews and nieces in Hawaii, and of course, Penn basketball games. The joy he scooped up is obvious on his face in every selfie on his camera roll. Did you know that he took a lot of selfies? I know that there is joy on his face from seeing all of you in the synagogue and online today. It is safe to say that any time you saw him out of the house, he was shepping nachas. He loved to attend an event, no matter how big or small. Saturday services at Shul, or lunch at Schnippers, parties at the Penn Club, or playing mahjong with his friends in Portsmouth. On that spring day last May, it was clear to see that I had hurt my dad's feelings by calling him Andy. He stopped me, and after a moment's pause, he said, "No, Dad," while gesturing to himself. For all of the joy that he scooped up in life, for all of the nicknames and his preferred names, none of it could compete with his most favorite title, being Dad. May his memory be a blessing.
If you are watching on YouTube, I apologize. You can see the back of the head of the first 3 rows, and for some reason the auto focus of the camera is not working. I hope you can hear us, because that's the most important thing, you're here with us in spirit. Let me share a few of my thoughts about Andy before I invite up our true religious. There are some people who come into our world in an official way, through work or through synagogue or through community. But then there are those rare people who become something deeper, a confidant, a trusted advisor, a true friend, and in very rare occasions, a member of the poker club. Andy was all of those things for me. Today we gather to remember him. He lived an extraordinary life, devoted to his family, dedicated to his work, and generous with his friendship and with his time. Although he was born here in Portland, his life would eventually span 2 worlds that he loved very deeply. Here in Portland, mostly Old Orchard Beach, and also New York, where his professional life flourished. I think he built a very impressive career on Wall Street, spending more than 40 years in the world of finance, eventually serving as vice chairman of National Alliance Securities. He was widely respected for his expertise in fixed income markets and became a familiar voice to many as a commentator on Fox Business, CNBC, Bloomberg TV, and often we saw him from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. He would capture those few moments on tape, whether it was a still shot or it was a live shot, and he would send this to many of us back here in Portland so we could share in his life, his professional life, and get a glimpse behind the curtain. But if you know Andy, that wasn't really what defined him. That was simply his professional success. What defined him was the way that he used his success to connect people, to support causes, and to strengthen the communities that he loved. Andy was deeply devoted to Jewish life and to Jewish people. He supported synagogues in New York and in Maine. He served on the board of the Maine Jewish Museum right here. He gave his time to charitable causes like the Children's Cancer Center of New York Medical College. And he carried forward a proud family legacy here at Italian, a legacy that stretched back, we believe, to his great-grandfather. Andy understood that Jewish life is not something that we inherit passively. It is something that we actively sustain. One of the things I will miss most about Andy was his extraordinary ability to bring people together. Andy had this remarkable network of relationships. People from Wall Street, from philanthropy, from the Jewish community, from Israel, and he loved to share those connections. More than once he would call me and say something like, "Itch, you should come down to," oh, sorry. My nickname is Itchy, and he knew me well enough that he called me Itch. So he never said Rabbi or Gary, he called me to say, "Itch, you need to come down to New York. We're having a members-only gathering that I think that you like. Something really interesting going on." And suddenly I would find myself at places I never thought I would ever see before. Meetings with leaders connected to Israel, evenings with remarkable people. One night he brought me to a cocktail reception and a lecture given by the Israeli ambassador to the United States at the ambassador's residence in New York. Another time we attended a talk by the head of the Mossad at a hotel in downtown Manhattan. Andy moved comfortably in those circles. But what I remember most is that he always wanted to share those experiences with others. He was so proud of Israel, proud of the Jewish people, and proud to help build bridges and connections. One of the moments that I will carry with me personally was the day of my rabbinic ordination. It was on a weekday, at the Actors Synagogue in Manhattan. And it was for me a combination of a lot of work, a lot of spirituality and studies. And I told Andy about it, and he said, "Give me the address, I want to come." I said, "Andy, you don't need to come." He said, "I just want to be there for you." That's the kind of guy he was. He sat by himself though there because he was the only one of my friends to show up. No, it's a long trip to New York, that's why. He was already there. But I prided him ever since then. I keep on saying, "Andy, thank you for coming for me." But that was Andy, he showed up for people. Above all, he showed up for his family. Linda, Rachel, Noah, Nolan, Jason. He showed up for all of you. And please know that the love that Andy had for you was evident to everyone who knew him and everyone who spoke to him. He spoke about you with pride and with joy. Our tradition teaches in the Talmud that a person is not remembered only for what they achieved, but for the lives they touched and the relationships they nurtured. Andy touched many lives. He was driven and hardworking, yes. Passionate and accomplished, certainly. But he was also generous, loyal, and deeply human. In the book of Proverbs we read, "A friend loves at all times." Andy understood friendship in exactly that way. It wasn't transactional. You didn't need to do something for him to love you back. It wasn't occasional, it was constant. And because of that, the circle of people who mourn him today is wide and deep. In the coming days and years, there will be moments when someone will mention Andy's name and a story will follow. Maybe next year at Yom Kippur when we break the fast, someone will mention, "Remember, Andy started this tradition, he was always here for it." Maybe a conversation with someone about finances, or a favor he did quietly for someone that no one else knows about. Those stories will continue. And through them, Andy's presence will continue as well. In Jewish tradition, when we speak of someone who has died, what do we say? May their memory be for a blessing. Not simply that we remember them. May their memory be for a blessing. When that memory itself becomes something that strengthens us, guides us, and inspires us. Andy's memory will do exactly that. For me personally, I will miss my friend. I will miss his advice. I will miss the phone calls that always begin with, yes, you should come to this event. And I will miss the simple knowledge that Andy was out there in the world, a loyal friend and a good man. May his memory forever be for a blessing, and may God bring comfort to Linda, Rachel, to Noah, to Nolan, and to Jason, who are all here today as we mourn our friend and father and cousin and uncle, Andy Brenner. At this point, I would like to invite up someone who knew Andy better than me, who was related to Andy, and that would be his cousin, Rabbi Jeff Glickman, who will deliver the final eulogy.
What an honor to be here. Such a fine rabbi, such a fine community. Thank you for letting me share a couple of words. Let's go back. Let's go way back. Let's talk about a family. Norm and Ida Brenner. Ida is probably the sweetest person who would ever have the opportunity to get to know. Life was kind of hard for them. They had 3 kids who they filled with love. Bob and Buddy and Barbara. And they kind of figured out how to make ends meet. But then Norm's sister lost her husband at an early age. She had a little boy. And Ida and Norm said, come live with us. In a small place. You're in Portland, Maine. That was huge. It was huge. And that little boy grew up as a sibling to his 3 cousins. And he knew that story. And he knew that a home isn't just for you. A home is a place for people in need. That's what a home is. His dad, Bob, his mom, Barbara, lovely people. Bob would talk slowly and keep talking. And he would talk about the people he revered. Extended family. And Andy heard that over and over again, and he listened. Look, the 2 brothers, Bob and Buddy, they had a variety store, Howard's Variety. Howard was named Howard's, that's another story. But it was a variety store. They had a variety of different things, but mostly they served the community. And they knew everybody. And Andy worked there. And he knew how to listen to people and how to serve people with what they wanted. He learned a lot from him. He learned a lot. He's a few years older than I am. I remember him as a teenager. Anyone here remember him as a teenager? Yeah. He was, I was from California. To me, he was such a noble. He had a sense of Portland, Maine. And people say he had his eye on Congress, and for him it's Congress Street. He didn't see much beyond that. But he knew it good, and he knew the people good, and he knew where it came from. And he was very interested in everybody's this and that, not as gossip, just because he was interested in people. And but when he went to UPenn, I can just imagine how it was received with all of these prep school phenomenals and Andy Brenner. But he held his own, and I think that he captured people's imaginations. He did exceedingly well in school, getting several degrees in incredibly short amount of time. He used to like photography, and I think the major reason that he liked photography is because he liked the woman at the photography school. A woman named Linda. And the two of them fell in love. This would not be complete today without saying that there's a special place in heaven for Linda Brenner. The way that she shows her love for her husband, the way that she was there, especially in difficult times. We're here to say, special place in heaven for them. They had a couple of children whom they loved, and there were challenges. Did I mention that Andy was a challenge to his parents? He was quite a challenge to his parents, but somewhere along the line he realized his parents are a treasure. In Portland, Maine, he couldn't run away fast enough, but he came to realize Portland, Maine is a treasure. He came to realize that, and he valued them so much. And he loves his kids up and down. Oh, he's so proud of his kids. And Noah's his best friend. And Rachel just, how many of you got a text message, picture of one of these kids? Yes? Yeah. I'm so happy. Andy and work really good, because he picked up that ability to listen to the stories and to make sense out of them. What are they really saying? What do they really mean? I think you learned that in an early age. When he would talk to you about finance and the markets, he would always use the word your. You know, you remember that? He'd say, well, your commodities are hitting it hard this week. But your TED stock, well, it's not doing as well as you think it would be. But my TED stock? My commodities? I would say, what, mine? But it dawned on me, he did that for a reason. It's the way he saw things. He could have been selfish, you could think of 3 letters afterwards, and probably ended up with 10 times as much money. But I think he viewed it as service. It's your commodities. It's your international exchange rate. He was working for you. He was looking out for you. He cared about you. I thought that was the stuff that he wrote. He didn't get paid for that. But people all up and down Wall Street would eagerly look to see what Andy has to say. They would eagerly look, because he told it like it is. I mean, Andy said some words that no one else has ever said. Ever. He could go up to a woman and say, "Looks like you're pregnant, tell me the story." Now, I would never say that. None of you in this room would ever say that. Right? But he told it like it is. And then he would listen to the story. He would listen. And you knew he was listening, and you knew he cared. And so you didn't slap him in the face. But he was like that. He was like that. You call him up. He was never busy, but he worked his butt off. He would always have a moment to listen to you. And to listen, to really listen. I think he got that from his dad. Beautiful words may as well always be for a lesson. This is what I think that means. I think that means that you should remember the name Andy Brenner. And that when you remember that name, something in this world is made better. I'll give you 3 ways that you can make his memory a blessing. 1, when someone is talking, and they're kind of talking long, and maybe a little slow, really, really give another wave of listening. Hang on just a little longer, because you could be going up this stream a little bit, and if you go a little longer, you'll catch the beautiful waterfall. If you hold on to the conversation and listen a little bit more, and you think of Andy would have listened more, you might catch a beautiful waterfall that you would have missed. You'd be making his memory a blessing. If you, Andy was really, really good at showing up. If you're debating whether or not to show up to something, especially an extended family thing, or when you're all buddies, and no one was loyal like Andy's loyal. Think of Andy and just show up. You'd be making his memory a blessing. And Andy early on learned that you gotta be involved in charity. Yeah, you give to the big charities, but you find a charity that's small, and you become involved in it. It was a challenge in the Brenner family. And he became really, really involved with one charity, the market. Really become involved. If you do those 3 things, if you really become involved in a local or smaller charity, if you just show up, or if you listen a little bit longer, and you do it thinking of Andy, because Andy would have done it, you'll be making his memory a blessing. May his memory always be for a blessing. Amen.
always been vertically challenged. I think we all can agree there will never be another Andy Brenner. And I join with all of you, not ashamed to say how much I will miss him, but very happy to have had the time to spend with him that God gave us. So in a moment, I'm going to conclude our service with the chanting of one more psalm, Kel Mole Rachamim, and then we will proceed out. Those of you who will go will proceed out to Mount Sinai Cemetery. It's at 182 Hicks Street, Hicks. There will be a procession from the parking lot, but it's going to be hard to be able to keep it all the way out there. So if you put that in your GPS, 182 Hicks Street. I'm going to ask, I always ask, but it doesn't usually happen, that you not stop and talk to Linda and to the kids and to Rabbi Glickman. Because if you do, we're going to be very late out at the cemetery, and they would like to go to the next thing, which is a reception at the Glickman home, which is 888 Shore Road in Cape Elizabeth. You're all invited back after the interment. The only thing is that there's almost no parking in the driveway, and it's not safe to park on our Route 77. So you're invited to park in the St. Albans Church parking lot, which is almost directly across the street from their parking lot. And we would welcome as many of you who can come, share stories about Andy, listen, have some refreshment, and do Shiva the right way. Anything else I forgot? If you would, I ask to invite you to rise for the Gil Mole Rana. Gil Mole Rachamim, Shochei B'Abromim, Amatzei Menuchot Yichonot, Tachas Kanfei Ashkina, B'Malos Kedoshim Tehorim, Gezohar Arakia Masirim, Es Nishmas Kazril Zalman Ben Ruvain, Shalach Le'olamo, Began Eden Tehei Menuchato, Ana Barachamim, Ashtirehu, Beseter Kenufech Le'olamim, Utzror, B'Yitzror Chayim Es Nishmato, Adonai, Bo Nachlato, V'Yanoach B'Shalom, Al Mishkavo, V'Nomar, Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Andrew Brenner, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that Andy find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he rest in peace forever. And let us say, Amen. I ask you to stay in your seats as the family leaves the sanctuary, and those of you who are going out to the cemetery, we'll see you out there. Good to see you.
person talking to them at the time, so what we wanted was seeing it. I then went taking with them, and it was just the two of them, and they chat, one took a song, they chat, and it was really cool. Yeah. So what we gonna say?
I was gonna say, let's take a picture of us and send it to Bruce.
Yeah, that'd be great. Probably better at the wheel on my mom. Yeah. Thank you.
Let me see.
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
Where do you want to go?
well, I know you didn't have your phone. Right here.
Yeah. How's Cindy out and
Then you just go over, hey, you grab.
oh, that's maybe better.